Hello everyone, and welcome to the tutorial video for the meal planning Trello board. I'm so glad that you purchased this board and I hope that it helps you meal plan easier. I hope that it helps your family come up with new ideas, and I hope it makes your life simpler. I don't want to complicate things. I want you to have more peace, more purpose, and more productivity in your life and not spending all your time in the kitchen. Whether you like cooking, you don't like cooking, I'm going to help you out to make meal planning simpler. So, this video that I'm recording right now is going to be uploaded into this Trello board. It will be right here. If you see on the left-hand side the picture of me, I will upload the video right here for you to use. The first step I want you to do when you purchase this board is to make a copy of it. So you'll see it will be up here. This is my own board, but you'll see make a copy. You can make a copy of this board. That way you can add to it, you can delete, you can do whatever you want with this board because it will be yours after purchase. And so there are stop signs throughout this board to remind you. Once you make your own copy, feel free to click the three dots and you can archive this. I just clicked the whole thing here. Hold on just a second. So you can, not the three dots, that's for the whole list. Each of the columns is a list. If you'll click the pencil, hover over the stop sign card. Each of these is a card, so each of the recipes is a card. You click here and you can click archive, which is the same as delete in Trello, okay? After you create your own copy. I want to go over the other contents of the board details list now. So again, the second one here will be where I upload the tutorial video. If you're new to Trello, not a problem. You can still learn to use this meal planning template through this training video, and Trello does a great job of walking you through the process of learning how to use it. But I will give you some tips here in this training video. They'll walk you through the steps of creating your own account. Most importantly, it's free. There are paid options, but everything that I teach here and how you're going to utilize this board is completely free. And the great thing about Trello is that you can access Trello on your mobile device. You can access it on your desktop, on your laptop, on your tablet, etc., which is perfect if you want to use this board, which I recommend. It makes it much easier if you want to use this board when you go to the grocery store. So when you have your grocery list, you can create a grocery list within this Trello board and check it off as you go to make things simpler for you. And you can access it using the app on your phone. So that is very handy with Trello. The next thing on this board details list is board labels. I have created labels for a variety of different recipes. There's over 350 recipes on this board. So I wanted to help categorize them, not just by the lists, as you'll see across the top, but by more specific labels. So you can create labels for Trello, and each card can have multiple labels. For instance, if one of the recipes is a 15-minute meal and it is a fish and other seafood item, you can give it the light blue label and the light pink label. And I have done that for you on all the 350 plus recipes on here. But I have Instant Pot, beef and pork, slow cooker, holiday, vegetarian, freezer friendly, 15-minute chicken and turkey, fish and seafood, and a side dish. Next on the board details is theme night ideas. Created a little graphic to give you some inspiration. These are just a sampling of the ones that I listed here in the description of the card. I'll give you some examples, but the whole gist of this is either to give you some ideas, some inspiration, to add some variety, and also to jazz up your meals. So if you are kind of stuck in a rut and your kids are kind of over the meals that you're providing, maybe you could create a theme night around it and make it more fun, especially if you've got younger kids and you're trying new foods. It could be Try It Out Tuesday, as you'll see on the list I have here. I did utilize using the same letter as the day of the week. So Meatless Monday, Taco Tuesday, Wrap Wednesday, etc. You can create your own ideas, but I do have a ton of ideas here in this card for you to get some inspiration from. For example, Make It Together Monday. Maybe you want to do a meal together at home where you all participate in creating the meal. There's Turkey Tuesday, Top 10 Tuesday. Maybe it's some of your family's favorite items. Tuscan Tuesday, so Italian. We've got Wildcard Wednesday, Waste Not Wednesday, using leftovers. Waffle Wednesday, if you like breakfast for dinner. Got Three-Course Thursday, maybe you want to make it more fancy meal on Thursdays. Thaw It Thursday, grabbing something from the freezer if you've got things going on, such as ball practices or lessons or meetings, etc. Fridays, Freezer Meal Friday, Finger Food Friday, Thin for Yourself Friday, and then Friday Family Fun Pizza. Our family uses this. We have Friday Family Fun Night every week. My kiddos are under 6 years old at this time, and they love our Friday Family Fun Nights. We often have pizza, whether it's homemade pizza or Domino's or another takeout pizza that we get for the girls. It's a fun way that we jazz up our meals, and our girls always look forward to our Friday Family Fun Night. We have Frugal Friday, we have Simple Saturday, Slow Cooker Saturday, got Spaghetti Sunday, Seafood Sunday, Soothing Sunday, maybe comfort food's your thing, Scenic Sunday, so you could do a picnic food. I have a lot of different options here. Maybe Sundays are your smorgasbord Sunday where you just got all the leftovers in the freezer and you put them out and reheat them. Whatever works for you. I just wanted to give you some inspiration on this card for you to create a theme night. And it doesn't have to be every week. Maybe you don't always want to have Taco Tuesday. Maybe one Tuesday's Taco Tuesday, jazz it up, and then do another Tuesday theme for the next Tuesday. So you could do Tot's Choice Tuesday. So the kid gets to choose what is for dinner that Tuesday. Just some ideas to get the juices flowing in meal planning. So that is the board details list. The next item on this list is what's in your freezer. And I'll show you here how you can click and drag lists to move them around. So if you don't like how I've organized them, create your own, remember, make your own copy, but then you can just simply click and move, and it will move the whole list for you as you move the cursor. So click and hold and then move it wherever you'd like. So to begin using this meal planning routine template, I do suggest inventory. It's important to see what you've got on hand before you start planning specifics, okay? And especially when it comes to your freezer inventory and your pantry inventory, these are things that you can update, and the initial time investment is the highest. So you're going to put some time into this inventory, but it's not like you'll have to put in this much time every week. You can just adjust it. So if you use up your cinnamon, just mark it off. So I do suggest doing an inventory. So starting with the freezer, you can add cards to this Trello board to utilize it as your freezer inventory. If you're more of a pen and paper gal, you can print off the what's in your freezer. I just clicked on the card and then clicked on this right here, the document itself, and what's in the freezer. So there's a place for you to put the type of food or what food it is, the amount, and then the date you made it, or the expiration date if it's a pre-made meal that you've bought. Great way to see what you have on hand. All of these printables, I suggest, especially when it comes to the meal planner one, instead of printing multiple sheets, you could, well, really for this, I take that back. For the freezer and the pantry, you don't have to do this strategy. Let me just wait and tell you about it with the meal planner, because it's something that has a week of at the top. So for the meal planner and groceries to buy, as you'll see right here that I'll go over in just a minute, I do have a hack for you to use so that you're not having to print off a new sheet every week, okay? So stay tuned. For the what's in your freezer and the pantry inventory, I do suggest writing directly on the printed sheet. You can put this what's in your freezer with a magnet on the freezer, especially if you have an outdoor freezer. We have a freezer in our garage where I store all the pre-made meals and all of the cooked meals. I often batch cook, so I'll cook extra quantities and put them in the freezer. But you can put it on a magnet on your freezer, but it's a place to take inventory, or you again can use this Trello board to add your freezer items. And I give you an example, like the lasagna, one 8x13 dish, and for example, you made it June 1st. Up to you on how you want to utilize that. In addition to seeing what's in your freezer, I have a pantry inventory sheet. Again, you can use the cards in Trello to create your pantry inventory, as the example shows here, like tomato paste. And you include the amount and the expiration date, or you can print off this inventory sheet and you can put it in your pantry. You can tape it up, you can post it wherever is most convenient. It is very helpful to go to when you go to meal plan. So I suggest weekly just doing a quick update to that pantry inventory before you meal plan, so you don't look at your pantry inventory and you use the tomato paste last week and you forgot to mark it off. So just do a quick update to it. But looking through what's in your pantry, I have canned goods, box goods, plastic, glass items, and then notes plus other items that may not fit into these three categories. But it's a good way to see what you have on hand quickly instead of having to visually look in your pantry each time you go to see what you've got. I like to use the strategy, can you go one more day? Can you go one more day without going to the grocery store? Can you get creative? Have you got some stuff in your inventory, in your fridge, in your freezer that you can utilize to create something fun? For example, I thought I had some frozen turkey. I did, but it didn't smell right. I was going to make turkey and cheese paninis, but instead of going out to the grocery store to buy some turkey, I realized that I had a pound of ground pork in the freezer, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to brown this pork and I'm going to throw it on the panini. We had ground pork and cheese paninis, and they were delicious. So think outside the box. Instead of having to go out to the store and get a specific item, can you get creative? Are there substitutes you can use? Maybe you don't have rice, but you've got quinoa or bulgur or some other type of grain that you can use instead of rice in a recipe. Think through some potential substitutes that you can use to go one more day without going to the grocery store. Use these inventory sheets to help you do that. The next list I want to show you is the week of. When you go to actually meal plan, I do suggest making a copy of this list within this board so that you always have a blank one to turn to. To make a copy, simply click on the three dots, so left click, and then copy list. And you can erase the line and type in week of, say it's week of July 7th, just random. I don't even know if that's a Sunday or Monday, but week of July 7th is what we've got. And you can use this list for that particular week. And so then when you go to make a new grocery list for the next week, you can create a copy again. So you'll always have a blank copy. First step is to click on the meal planner sheet. I do suggest printing off this sheet, and this is where this hack comes in. Print off one copy, buy or if you have any on hand, a thick sheet protector, put that printed off meal planner in that sheet protector and use a thin dry erase marker to meal plan. And so when you're done meal planning for that week, you can just erase it and start over. You can also put it in a frame, a glass frame, a picture frame, and use it that way. So again, you can use dry erase marker on the picture frame, so glass or thick plastic, anything that would erase with dry erase marker. Saves you ink. You'll just have to print one copy and you can reuse week in and week out simply by erasing it with using a dry erase marker. So you can put in the week of whatever that week is. Your first step is to see what you have going on that week. I don't want you to fill out a meal plan and not think about your schedule. Have you got meetings? Do you have sports practice, sports games? Do you have lessons? Do you have planned date nights with your spouse? Do you have planned family meals out? Do you have parties, etc.? Think about what you've got going on that week that would impact the number of meals that you need to have on hand, that you want to have on hand. Quickly jot those down right here below each day of the week that you have something going on. And then based on that schedule that you've just jotted down, how many meals do you need this week? Maybe you want to only focus on dinners and you'll just have leftovers for lunch the next day and like frozen waffles or cereal or whatever for breakfast. Maybe you want to work on it that way. Maybe you want to include breakfast and lunch. Maybe there are days of the week that you like to have a breakfast freshly made for your family. Whatever works for you. In your mind, how many meals would you like to have ready for the week or have prepared throughout the week? Write that number there. Step 3 is to use this meal planning template here. So on the left side, you'll see day-specific meals. On the right side, you'll see meal options and ideas. I have personally found, and other moms have agreed, that it's really hard in the season of life that we're in as moms with kids still in the house to be really specific as to what day you're having what meal. So for instance, filling out the entire left column Monday through Sunday. So you've got everything. You're having tacos on Tuesday, you were having meatloaf on Wednesday, et cetera, et cetera. Finding it difficult because there's very little flexibility in that. Now, of course, you can write down what you're going to have and mark it out and just scribble all over it. And then that's okay too if that's the way you'd like to use this. But I suggest only putting things on the left side if it's known. For instance, every Friday night we have Friday Family Fun Night and it's pizza in our house. So I would write next to Friday, pizza. For example, if this particular week that you're filling out the meal plan for, you have a date night on Saturday, put date night plus and maybe mac and cheese plus chicken nuggets for the kids to have with the babysitter. If you know specific days that you want a particular meal, go ahead and write those on the left column. Then on the right side, I want you to write the meals that you're flexible with. So say you've got spaghetti in the pantry with some sauce and meatballs. So you want to have spaghetti and meatballs one night. So spaghetti and meatballs. Say you found a new recipe and you want to try out one new recipe a week and it's a chicken marsala recipe. So you write the chicken marsala recipe. Maybe you want to be relaxed one evening and do PB&Js. So PB&Js, you can write that flexibility down. Hack here though, peanut butter, almond butter sandwiches, even almond butter tortillas, etc. Pre-make those if you batch cook, like I do batch cook, but I'll make a bunch of peanut butter sandwiches. Our girls don't like jelly on their sandwiches, but whatever kind of sandwich, turkey and cheese works. Any type of sandwich, make it. I usually cut it in half, wrap it in aluminum foil and stick it in the freezer. And then you pull it out that morning for lunch to have at home or lunch to have at school. So you can throw it in their lunchbox and it thaws before lunchtime. That's a hack there. But maybe you want to do peanut butter sandwiches one night for all of your family. And this is where you'll just write those ideas down. And they can be as simple as the peanut butter sandwich as they can be as elaborate as a 3-course meal. Those ideas are for you, and just give yourself enough ideas to fill again this blank up here. Okay, so how many meals you need based on the schedule for the week. And this gives you flexibility here on the right side. You have these ideas, and I do want you to think about, so in addition to writing that idea down, write when you may make that meal. So the spaghetti and meatballs, when do you anticipate making that meal? If you're batch cooking, maybe it's Saturday morning, maybe it's Sunday afternoon, maybe you want to do it on Tuesday night when you plan on having spaghetti and meatballs. Write that down, jot that down, that idea of when you'd like to make that particular recipe. And if you don't know yet, that's okay. Just write down that meal idea and leave it at that and give yourself flexibility. The flexibility comes in when, for instance, something comes up. There was a meeting you didn't know about. There was a sports practice you didn't know about. And so you need to have flexibility. You're not going to have the time to make a particular meal if you had written it down on that Tuesday. In addition to that, it gives you flexibility in your preferences. Maybe on a Tuesday, you don't want tacos. That's okay. You've got it here on the right-hand side. You can put it for Friday or Saturday or whenever. It's your choice. But I do like meal planning this way to give yourself some flexibility throughout the week, but give yourself some ideas on when you'll make them. So I hope that was helpful for planning your meals. In addition to planning the meal specifically, I do suggest thinking about your family's meal preferences. This is in terms of cuisine. So, do you tend to choose Italian restaurants when you go out to eat as a family? Do you choose Asian restaurants? Do you choose American fare? What do you lean towards as a family? Think about that. We like Italian. We do a lot of pasta. And so I always have pasta, sauce, and some type of meatball or meat that can quickly be browned on hand. I buy that, not necessarily in bulk, but I always have extra on hand because I know that is a meal that our family loves to eat and can be made quickly. And we always have it on hand. So think about your family cuisine preferences and stock up a little bit on those items that help you fill in the gaps. If you're really busy one week, if you are got sick kiddos or you yourself are sick, just to help you fall back on family favorites. Maybe you've got a specific recipe that's a family favorite. So stock up on some supplies for that. Maybe you want to batch cook and add extra servings to where you can put some in the freezer. How can you think ahead to help your future self for when life happens and when life throws us curveballs and we've not got the time we want to dedicate to meal planning? Because it happens. And so I want to help you be better prepared. I want us to be proactive and not reactive to where we're just automatically swinging by the fast food joint or whatever is your ultimate fallback. Okay, so I encourage you to think about your family's cuisine. Next, we'll look at the week of in terms of groceries to buy. And click on this. Again, another one that I suggest printing out, but you can put a sheet protector on or put it in a frame and you can reuse it. Also, if you plan on taking this to the grocery store, you probably want to get some kind of little clipboard to put with your sheet protector and sheet here to check it off as you go. And if you want to print it off each and every week, you can. I will say, when I started using Trello as my grocery list to check off items, it made it much easier. I didn't have I didn't have a pen in my hand and that sheet that I had to keep pulling out and pulling out. I could just look at my phone. And if you don't want to use Trello for your list, use your Notes app on your phone. It has a checklist capability. I've done that before too. Use what works for you. Don't try to force yourself into something that you know you don't want to do. So make it easy for yourself. What do you prefer? But this groceries to buy sheet, you can either use it or it can help give you inspiration for various types of items that you'll need. Now I want to talk about the meals that are on here, the recipes that are on here. Each card recipe has a picture with it to give you some visual inspiration. I know a lot of times when I look at recipes, it's frustrating, especially some older cookbooks that I have that I can't see a picture of it. I love to see pictures of recipes for inspiration, especially as I'm scanning through something. And this is a one place to just scan through. We've got lists that give you various categories. You'll see across the top beef and pork, chicken and turkey, fish and other seafood, sandwiches, wraps, bread, dips, spread sauces. We've got so much soup, side dishes, vegetarian, breakfast of various sorts, dessert, beverages, and then there's an entire section over 60 recipes specifically for holidays that can come in super handy. Each card has a picture and it has some details about the recipe. For example, the prep time, the cook time, the total time. And then I have a link. So some of these recipes I didn't create on my own. So I want to give credit to the person who created it. So I want you to support them by going to their website where their recipe is. So you can see the recipe there. But each and every one of the recipes that are not my own, I included a link to. So you'll see, click on the link under attachments to view the recipe. Now, one attachment is a picture of the meal, and the other is a link to the recipe. So this is a quick 15-minute beef and broccoli stir fry. So you click on the link, which I just did. You'll see it come up here. I love the way almost all the recipes that I look at have that quick little jump to recipe button that you can quickly view and see if you want to add that to your meal planner. This 15-minute beef and broccoli stir fry could be added to your meal planner sheet or on your Trello board as a card. So this is how you create a grocery list from this recipe. You look through this list, you think about what's on your pantry inventory and your freezer or your fridge inventory. When I say freezer, you can also add your refrigerator items, okay? And you can not worry about what you've already got on hand. So say, for instance, you've already got the garlic, you've already got the olive oil, you've already got some mushrooms, but you don't have broccoli florets. So I suggest selecting the entire, both quantity and type of ingredient. And I just did Control-C for copy on my desktop here. And then I'm going to go over to your grocery list. So the grocery list right here, I'll click again so you'll see. It's the first card here for week of July 7th. I made that up. And we had, this would be produce. So I wanted to show you how you add a new checklist. So meat and fish is up here, but if you want, we can add produce and click add. Produce will be here. You can also move it towards the top. I just clicked on it and I'm dragging it to the top. And then Control V for broccoli. And then you click add. So I just Control V is paste and I added it there on our Trello board for your grocery list. So you didn't have any broccoli florets on hand. Say, for instance, you didn't have any pepper strips. That's another produce item. Control C and then Control V, added it right there. You can also, with this grocery list, add items that aren't on your meal plan. You can add toiletry items, you can add other household items, dairy, you can add snacks, variety of things. You can pull this up at the grocery store on your phone using the app and just click when you're done. And so it is just a checklist that you click off. And then you can keep that list because that's your specific week of July 7th. So say you've done your grocery list, you've gone to the grocery store, everything's wonderful, it's done. You can actually click and drag the list over here to the end. That way it's done and it's already passed. So they're on the right-hand side. And you can, again, create a copy here for the next week. So hopefully that helps you in creating a grocery list from these recipes that I already have preloaded. Again, over 350 of them from all different types of food, all different types of nutrition value, lots of different ideas. I also encourage you to add your own recipes, just the same way I did here. Say, for instance, you have an eggs and meat recipe that you wanted to add. So maybe it's a particular type of quiche. Let's say a mushroom and cheese quiche. I just clicked add card and then mushroom and cheese quiche and add card. You can click on the card to add a description. Maybe you want to add the instructions. So you can add instructions here and say first is to cut them. Let's say it's cut the mushrooms. Quarters. And then if you notice, I put an asterisk there in front of the word instructions, and it made it the font increase. So the number of asterisks, so 2 asterisks decreases the font a little bit. 1 asterisk is the largest font size. You can put that. I'm sorry, that was a pound sign. Pound is the size. Asterisk is bold, so you can put an asterisk to bold the word. That is not what I meant. 2 asterisks. 1 is italic, excuse me. So 2 asterisks on each side is bold, but you can add the instructions for your recipe. You can also create a checklist for ingredients, add in, so 1 package of mushrooms. And then you can actually, so if you create your own recipe here and you put the ingredients in, you can copy. So you can, here, I'll add something else. So for instance, 1 pack of cheese. One more thing, 1 prepared pie crust. So you can copy, so Control-C, that entire ingredients list, and come over here to your grocery list. Actually, I'm going to go over here back to the July 7th one. And grocery list, and you can add in your items here. So you don't have to add them one by one. It will create them for you. And then say, that's not meat and fish. So you can move the actual item to whatever category it is, okay? Each of those items, cheese, we can move down to dairy, etc. Makes it super handy to create a grocery list from a particular recipe that you've added on your own. You'll also see Thompson Family Recipes and my maiden name family recipes that do have full recipes in them. And again, you can use the copy and paste. So say it was all these that you needed on your grocery list. I just copied all of those. And you can, just the same way I did here, add an item, press enter, and all of them show up as different entries for ingredients. And you can click and drag them to wherever they need to go. But that would all be in Protos, so that's very handy. Very helpful in terms of not having to separate for each item in the ingredients list. That's how you create your own recipe in Trello. I really hope that you utilize this board and it helps make meal planning easier. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. My email is Kerri, Kerri, @kerrithompson.com. You can also find me on social media. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to join our Less Overwhelmed, More Joy for Moms Facebook group. It's free. I share tips and resources, and it's a community of fellow moms. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and happy meal planning. Bye.